Hey, Bruce here with the 5-Minute Handyman. I want to talk to you today about rolling a wall and just give you some thoughts and ideas about that. Let me show you some of the hardware. What we're doing is we're going to paint this section of the wall. I've got my roller and paint ready. I've got a tarp down on the floor. I also like to take a piece of tape and put it on top of the baseboard, and I'm not putting it on here to be able to cut this line straight, so I just want to tape it on here and have it flaring out so that it'll catch any drips. Let me show you what happened over on this side. As I was painting, I did have a drip, and where did it land? Right on the tape. It didn't run down onto my previously painted baseboard. Now when I did paint my baseboard, I did put down tape on the floor, and you can see that typically drips will come in close to the wall, and so this tape did catch that drip. Likewise, you can also use a piece of paper with tape on it so you have a larger area to protect your floor, depending on the kind of flooring that you've got. But so what I'm going to do is let me just set this up, and I'll show you how I go about doing my taping and rolling. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I've got a piece of painter's tape, and I am just going to take and put it onto the top of my baseboard. Just tack it on here. I don't want to push it down tight, because I want it to protect the area below. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do. I've already cut this line, so now I just need to roll in between. So when I do my rolling, I want to load my roller and load it very well. When I get it all loaded up, I'll take my edges and get the paint off of the edges so I don't generate lines when I'm doing my painting. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm using a 1/2-inch nap roller, which holds a little bit more paint than the 3/8 nap roller. And so what I'll do is I'll start near the bottom, and I'll come up, get paint on the wall. There's two parts to painting. One is getting the paint on the wall. The second part is smoothing it out. So then I'll come next to it, again get most of the paint off of my roller, and then I'll come back and work it into the pores of the wall. So you can do either the W pattern, where you're making a W on the wall, or you can just do straight up and down. It doesn't really matter. But the key is really to make sure that you are changing the orientation of the roller so that it's not printing on the wall. Like a rotary printing press, if you had an artifact on this roller, and let me show you what I mean by that. Let me scrape off some of the paint here. And when I roll this, it's going to leave a weird pattern. If I rolled it and kept it at this in the same orientation, each and up and down, it's going to keep that artifact in that spot. So what I want to do is I want to change the orientation and even just lift it up and move it down a little bit so it doesn't line up, and then that goes away. So once I get the paint on the wall, I have it worked in nicely. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the paint, and that means I'm going to just take and with very light pressure overlap about 1/3 of my roller and draw it in one direction, and that's going to ensure that I don't have any lines where the edges are, and it's going to give me a nice uniform texture to the wall paint. And then when we're finished, just take off the tape, and we've got nice clean baseboard.